Hello to the nation, DrPlaystationNation here to talk to you guys over some WWDC news. Guys, a lot of cool stuff was released today. If you guys don't know what WWDC is, it is the Worldwide Developers Conference 2012. Apple kind of hosts this event every now and then. Actually, it's not every now and then, it's every single year in San Francisco, guys. Pretty cool event. They kind of host it and they talk about all their new stuff and all their new hardware as well as software that they're introducing over the course of the next year. And it's a pretty cool event. Lots of geeks go to it and lots of geeks like it. So I'm just going to say this right off the bat, guys. I am not talking about this because I am an Apple fanboy, guys. I am far from it, guys. I do enjoy the products that Apple has. I do enjoy the iPad, the iPod, iPhone, stuff like that. But by no means do I feel compelled to talk about Apple as if they were some amazing company, because really, lots of it's overpriced. It's extremely overpriced products and whatnot. But what I do believe about Apple is that because they have overpriced products, they have the ability to kind of reach out and grasp concepts that other people may not have touched. Stuff like a tablet computer. Stuff like, I don't know, specific types of multitasking, which may take more research and development to use. And because they have this extra money, they can do stuff like that, they can take risks like that, and that's something really appealing about a company. Also, I do believe that competition breeds progression, and the simple fact is, as much as you may hate Apple, they definitely lead the forefront as far as new freaking features in personal computing. If you guys remember back a few years ago, before the iPad, nobody was thinking about releasing a touchscreen personal computer slightly larger than a phone that you can carry with you for simple tasks such as playing games, word processing, whatnot. That was not a thing. Nobody even wanted that. Like people didn't know that that could be a thing. Like, they didn't know about this. Laptops and netbooks were all the rage, and then Apple just comes out and says, hey, this is a new thing called an iPad. You guys like it? And instantly, every freaking company out there started developing some sort of tablet. Android developed their tablet OS. Windows is now developing their tablets. And it freaking blew up overnight. So as much as you may say Apple sucks and Apple's terrible, they freaking made tablets the thing they are today. So that's why I kind of like them. I like kind of predicting where the market's going to be going, predicting what future trends may occur, and that's why I watch these things. So that's what I'm going to kind of be talking about. I'm going to be talking about all the stuff Apple talked about today, as well as kind of talking about how that may apply to future trends and whatnot. So anyway, let's kind of get into talking about it. So the first thing that they talked about at WWDC was new hardware for MacBooks. So MacBooks really didn't get a lot of new hardware this year. They got the ability to upgrade to 768 gigabytes of flash storage, guys, which is pretty big, almost a terabyte. Really fast storage, really cool. They also did get the ability to upgrade to Retina displays, guys. So the new MacBooks, MacBook Air and MacBook Pros, do have Retina displays, which is pretty cool, guys. If you've never used an iMac or a MacBook before, you guys can tell from the screens that it's low resolution. Like, me personally, I can tell looking at a Mac screen, as well as most other screens that are low quality, you can tell the resolution is not as high as it should be, and because of that you can kind of see pixels. So this is a really great thing to see this Retina display incorporated into it. Probably one of the coolest things, though, as far as hardware, and this is one of the things that I can kind of relate to future trends and what we're going to be seeing, is they have now integrated an i7 processor into the MacBook Pro. This is something very cool, something I haven't seen before. An i7, which is a super beast processor, being integrated into a laptop. And that's something pretty cool, definitely something that I hope to be seeing in more Windows computers, and like Samsung, Toshiba, freaking all those companies, get on this shit, start putting i7s in laptops. Definitely would be a cool thing to see. They are underclocked, sadly. It's underclocked from 3.4 gigahertz to 2.7, but with the ability to hyperthread, it is much more powerful than an i5 processor. Something pretty cool and something I would like to see in the future, and I'm thinking we're most definitely going to be seeing i7s in more and more Windows-based computers. So, getting past that, that was really, for the most part, all the upgrades as far as MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs. Those were the upgrades that you were able to get, and then they moved on to Mac OS X Mountain Lion, guys, which is going to be the successor to Mac OS X Lion. And for this low price of $20, guys, next month you will be able to upgrade any of the computers in your house with one purchase, and it's by no means a Mac OS X Lion. It didn't upgrade that much. It didn't even upgrade enough by any standards, but for 20 bucks, the features that they did offer is pretty cool and definitely worth it to stay up to date. So they did introduce some stuff like Notification Center, guys. Now, with your Mac, you have the ability to have notifications pop up when tweets come in, when you have Game Center challenges, I guess, when you new stuff like your Facebook statuses, messages, all that great stuff. A lot of cool notifications that are definitely neat to see integrated into a more PC style environment or a desktop style environment, and something that's going to be interesting to see, definitely appealing to teenagers nowadays. So that's something pretty cool, something that really you're not going to be able to see that in Windows computers and whatnot, because face it, there's already an app that does that. Maybe not as clean, but there definitely is one. Some other stuff they integrated is dictating, guys. So now you can actually dictate to your Mac product, whether it be an iMac, whether it be a MacBook Pro, MacBook Air. They all have their integrated microphones. I don't know about a Mac Mini. I don't know if that has an integrated microphone. But anyway, you can now talk to it, and it'll dictate what you say and turn it into speech. It's not a Siri, guys. Sadly, they did not introduce Siri for the iMac, but it is kind of neat to have that functionality, and definitely kind of foreshadowing at the possibility of Siri coming maybe before the next WWDC. So it at least gives you a kind of taste of what speech-to-text sort of thing will bring you. So then after that, they did release one more cool feature for the iMac, or the Mac OS X mountain lion, which was AirPlay, guys. So no longer for your MacBook Pro do you need to go up and plug an HDMI cord in it or whatever and kind of sit it next to the TV and awkwardly place it. Hopefully it doesn't fall. Instead of doing that, you can now stream full quality 1080p content to your TV through your Apple TV, through any compatible device, and that's pretty cool from my standards. You can also stream to your iPad, your iPhone, your Mac, or your iMac, anything like that. You can stream all your content to and from either device, vice versa, all that great stuff. And it's really simple, guys. You just go up to the top right-hand corner of your screen, or I guess top right-hand corner for you guys, and you click on it and turn on AirPlay. So you can stream all of your stuff to and from different devices, which is a pretty cool feature. It's much more, or much better than it was prior on iOS 5. So anyway, getting past that, that was really, for the most part, a lot of the features on Mac, or the new OS X, that really were interesting to me. Nothing else really screamed groundbreaking, so I'm not really going to talk about it. So guys, please do not comment below telling me I missed this specific feature, because I probably wasn't that interested in it. Moving on. So now, moving on to iOS 6, guys. iOS 6 is pretty much the next iteration of Apple iOS. It's something for the iDevices, such as the iPad, iPhone, iPod, and they introduced a lot of cool stuff this year. A lot of stuff that I was really interested in as far as integration into phone devices, and a lot of stuff that could be integrated into Windows 7 phones as well as Android phones. Now, by no means is any of this stuff groundbreaking, but it's pretty cool integration and kind of a wake-up call to other companies that they really need to start supporting their operating systems for their phones. So anyway, getting past that, and let's start talking about it. So some of the cool stuff that they introduced was stuff like Passbook. A Passbook is basically an application which can store all of your credit cards, your gift cards, your airline tickets, your show tickets. Any supported business will use this application in order to give you as much functionality out of it. And it's a pretty cool application. Gives you the ability to just show us a QR code or a barcode on your screen in order to just people scan it, and there you go. Really convenient. Don't really have to worry about carrying around these airline tickets and whatnot, and don't have to worry about losing them. So that's something that was pretty cool. Another thing that they introduced, which was kind of neat, really kind of targeted towards the teenage market, which was Facebook integration. They introduced a lot of APIs for developers to easily integrate Facebook into their applications, which was something that was pretty neat to see. It's like, I know Facebook is this huge thing, but a lot of integration wasn't with it, and a lot of people are probably going to be hesitant to want to see like their feed fill up with so-and-so is playing Temple Run, so-and-so just got an achievement in Temple Run, so-and-so is playing Draw Something. It might not be the most interesting thing to you, but there's a lot of cool abilities in this. Maybe you have the Engadget app, and it'll give you the ability to post it to Facebook much more easily than prior. You had to like open it up, and you have to log into Facebook on every different app and all that stuff, so it would be kind of neat to see how this integration works, and definitely something that interests me. Also, some other stuff they introduced is the fact that you can now photo stream, so you can actually stream photos from like your iPhone to your iPad. I know they had this kind of cloud service, but you don't really need to upload it anymore. It just kind of streams over, and it's kind of cool to see that. You can take a photo with your iPad, see it on your iPhone. You take a photo with your Mac, see it on your iPhone or iPad or iPod, and all this stuff. So it was pretty cool to see that. So now moving on to one of the bigger things at this conference was Siri integration. So they have finally integrated Siri into the iPad, guys. So now you can officially get Siri on your iPad. Sadly, only the iPad 3 is supported, but for those of you who have jailbroken iPads, you can easily get it. You could have easily gotten it for the last year, but something really neat to see kind of that technology converting over to the iPad, something that's neat for me to see. They've also introduced new features to Siri, stuff like sports. You can now ask your phone, hey, what year did Babe Ruth retire, or what year does so-and-so freaking do something, I don't know, what's his batting average? I'm a computer guy, I'm not a sports guy. And this kind of feeling was carried over probably at WWDC when they were introducing this. Probably a lot of people weren't very interested in it, but probably a lot of you guys with iPhones out there are probably going to be interested to kind of use this feature and use it to its full capabilities. Something that's definitely interesting to a certain market. So that was kind of interesting, but they also introduced stuff like being able to look up movie times, guys. They've introduced Yelp integration so that now you can use Yelp and see all the reviews for movies, see movie times, be able to buy tickets and stuff like that, which is really cool to see. Like I said, it's introduced to the iPad now, and I would love to get that on my iPad too, because yes, I do have a jailbroken iPad too, which it's the only way to really go right now. So getting past that, some of the other stuff they integrated was these really cool features for the iPhone, guys. So before, like, I was always wanting to have a phone so that when I get a text message or when I get a phone call and I can't take it, I would like it to remind me that I got that, because I'm one of those people that forgets about anything. If you guys ever personal message me on YouTube, I probably have read it and wanted to reply to you, but didn't want to do it right at that moment, and I really wish it would have reminded me, really wish that it would have marked it as unread or something like that. Like, that's my favorite feature about emails, mark it as unread, and that's what Apple actually introduced into their new iOS 6. Now when you get a call or something like that, opposed to just answering it and be like, hey, call me back later, or just screening it and saying, okay, I'll have to remember to call that person back, you can tell your phone to when you leave the building, using the GPS, when you leave the building, to remind you to call that person, in an hour to remind you to call that person, and do different styles of reminders with that, do custom reminders and whatnot, which is really cool in that respect. Also, you can actually set it to a do not disturb mode, and not just like a silent mode, a do not disturb mode. So now you can actually set up lists of people which you would like to screen, lists of people which you would like to get through, and depending on how many times they called, it'll let certain people through, depending on who it is, it'll let certain people through, depending on times of day, it'll let certain people through, and that's really going to help a lot of the insomniac teens that are up at like 2 in the morning texting people, because they do not have this feature. Like, they get these texts and feel the need to reply to them. So that's definitely a cool feature that they're integrating, something that I've definitely wanted in a phone for a long time, and the iPhone OS, that's definitely one of the perfect places to see it. So that's probably going to be seen in a lot of new phone OSs, a lot of Android phones and whatnot. So anyway, continuing on. So the next two things that were really big in iOS 6 was FaceTime capabilities as well as Maps capabilities. So new FaceTime capabilities, a huge one, something people have been waiting for a year, is the ability to FaceTime on 3G. FaceTime now is available on your cellular network. They haven't talked too much about specifics and all that great stuff, but it is really cool to see that. Now again, this is one of those features that have been available for you if you had a jailbroken iPhone, iPad, iPod. You've been able to do this for a year now. So it's not one of those huge things, but it is one of those little things that, thank God, Apple finally integrated this. And now let's hurry up and close off this video, because we're probably coming up on the 15-minute mark. But anyway, the final part of the WWDC was closing off talking about the Maps application. So if you guys don't know, in previous iOSs, the Maps application was really just one of those overthoughts, something that nobody really paid attention to, but no longer, guys. This year, the Maps application went through a huge update and got a lot of improvements. Pretty much Apple spent a lot of money getting stuff like 3D models of different buildings of big cities, many big cities, setting up a search engine that will work with, I think they said approximately 1 million different businesses and whatnot, and it gives you a lot of the good functionality that you have from Google, but natively on your device. Also, it doubles as a GPS, guys. You can actually have turn-by-turn navigation on your iPhone natively. No longer do you need to spend $60 on a TomTom application that'll work for North America or for Europe or wherever you are. This will work natively there, and that's a big thing. It's replaced both Google Maps pretty much for your phone as well as TomTom application. So hopefully it's as good as they say there, and hopefully it doesn't use data like nobody's business, because hopefully the app will just be like the 1 or 2 gigabyte file like TomTom is, and it has all the data on there, opposed to you constantly having to load up data, because a lot of service providers don't include unlimited data, and if you're using the GPS a lot, then you're probably still going to want to go with the TomTom application, which will save you on data. But anyway, guys, hopefully you did enjoy watching this video. I really wanted to expand on whatever I could. Sorry for the length, guys, but remember, guys, to rate the video if you guys did enjoy it, if you did think it was a good video. Remember to subscribe to join the nation for all these news videos, as well as Minecraft stuff and different video game content. And anyway, I'm the Doctor, and I'm out. Peace.